image.
Okay.
And these moves are we going at 0.2?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So 0.2 half the time.
Yeah, so. Alright, pilot, you've headed over to my port side. I'm 10 degrees over.
Okay. There's a nice little vein of hard substrate here.
So we did manage to get a tentative ID on those black coral sticks we were seeing coming out of the seafloor just a few minutes ago, and they're likely stylopathes.
Get to the
or
top
close
of it, come
relative.
back over.
Oh, that's a big urchin.
Yeah, it's,
Would you like to take a
And
look
sea
at that?
cucumber. It's a different species of sea cucumber, though.
yeah, I don't think we've seen that one so far.
Okay.
You didn't get a twofer in this shot.
Yep.
I think I'm going to sit
Seem
down
to be
for this
lucky
one.
today with these 2-for-1 shots.
Stand by video.
So estamos viendo un pepino del mar y un erizo
That looks to be about the move.
en la profundidad de
Go ahead, video.
592 metros.
Yeah, so sea urchin, possibly in a kind of thurid. And a new species of holothurian sea cucumber to the bottom that we haven't seen yet on this dive.
Let's zoom in on the urchin first.
Again, you could see 2 feet kind of floating in the, well, not floating, but waving in the water. They use this 2 feet to attach to the substrate or attach something to camouflage itself. And what's interesting about 2 feet is that they have a water vascular system where they use seawater to extend or contract these 2 feet.
Okay. You can go a full specimen shot on the urchin. Just hold that.
There also may be off to the left-hand side of the urchin we're looking at now, another urchin that one of the shoreside scientists has seen.
Okay, we'll pan over to the left after we take a look at this Holothurian here. You can go in video if you have it. Okay, go ahead and zoom out.
So these guys also have 2 feet, but they're not really well defined. They're on their ventral system. So we could kind of see all the way to the left, the 2 feet attached to the rock.
Yep.
If we zoomed in, but
I have stop pilot.
Great.
There's possibly a sponge or a coral
All right,
in
set
front of
aside
these things
back
closer
here
to
with
us.
the
Really? Okay,
yes.
you want to come out
Cucumber?
to a partial zoom?
It'll be white on the substrate right there.
do you see the
I don't see another urchin. Watch
right here.
the bottom of the screen?
bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 of them. There's one on the sediment.
Okay, go ahead and video. I'll back up a little more. Okay, you can zoom in tighter.
So this looks like to be one of the deep sea long-spined urchins.
Hold that.
It's to remember the name of them.
It's like diatomidae or something. I think close to that. Are they in the family of?
Yeah. Is there something on that urchin as well? Looks like there's another organism in the upper right corner of the sphere. Yeah, I can't tell what it is right now.
You can zoom in a little tighter.
I think.
That's
Yeah,
max.
that's it. Yep.
Okay.
Or that may be just part of the.
Might be. It could be the anus.
It looks like it's chomping down on this sargassum here. Definitely an important food source for the for benthic critters down here. Okay, thank you, pilots.
Okay, let's come out full wide.
All right, so I've come 30 to port.
All right.
And I'm kind of looking down, so you have plenty to go starboard and ahead.
Hey, this is Chris Ma.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Steve and Stacy. How are you today?
Pretty awesome. How are you?
I see you're checking out some of my favorite animals. So the word you're looking for is aspidodiadematid.
That's the word.
I don't know why you didn't just remember that.
I know. Shame on me.
So it could be one of 2 or 3 genera from this area, either Aspidodiadema or Plesiodiadema. And that was pretty neat that you watched it. I think it was feeding. Didn't get to see pronounced anal bulb, but still getting to see 2 urchins, a cucumber, and that brittle star. It's a nice sort of compendium. Also, we got to see the little hoof-like spines that the Echinothurid uses to walk along on the bottom. There's a fringe of spines directed along the oral surface that are horseshoe-shaped, and they use those to walk along soft bottom.
Yeah.
So, and someone was showing me the star you saw earlier today, a slime star in the genus Pteraster. So, some definitely wonderful echinoderms that you're seeing today. And looks like you've got lots of nice Lebensborn and a lot of tracks down on the sediment as you're moving along. So a fine day for some deep sea invertebrates.
Agreed. Well, thanks for providing that that context, and I look forward to
fog lights on this
having your input if we find any, particularly noteworthy things.
Looking forward to the next thing. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Take care.
Seems pretty blurry.
Yeah.
All right. Trying fog lights.
There's a fish.
Photobombed.
Barble. Beardfish, right?
Yeah, beardfish.
Beardfish with barbels.
It's a little more detail there.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to image.
So this was Terabellid polychaete. It's actually a worm, funny enough. The body is most likely either on top of the sediment or in the sediment here, but what you're looking at is the oral surface, the mouth parts.
Try to focus on that softly.
Yeah, right? It has very little contrast.
Yeah. All I can get is a couple of the feeding tubes in the center.
It's interesting.
And
put in a move when you're ready.
If perturbed, these do have the ability to move. They oscillate this disc here, and they can actually move and swim short distances.
So the shallower water species of this are called spaghetti worms, and a lot of times they have these way longer tentacles that look like spaghetti. So those are awesome.
It's mesmerizing. You can watch the food particles travel along the filaments. Yep. There's actually a video online of one of these swimming. I think that the EV Nautilus took a while back in 2014. I think in this same area.
High beams.
Sure.
But they're definitely characteristic of the soft bottom fauna in this area. So I suspect as we traverse this area of low slope, we'll see many of them.
All right. I'm headed 300, camera's at 45 degrees.
Copy that.
Things looking good.
Just gonna meander back and forth until we see something of interest.
Nav, this is watch lead. How is our track for getting to the waypoint 3 on schedule? Okay. Excellent, thanks.
The tracking seems really good and the calibration.
Yeah, it does.
I almost feel like these aluminum ones have always behaved.
And it might
You
even
could see all
be
the tracks
software.
in the sand.
Yeah.
This
Sure,
could be
not
from
necessarily a,
all the mini sea cucumbers that we've seen throughout
but
this
maybe, I
dive.
don't know.
Sea cucumbers, urchins, gastropods. Chris Moss had a word, Lebenspuren, that was it's not a word we hear very often, but it's a word that is used often in the deep sea to mean signs of life. And I think it's a German word. And yeah, it's definitely something that when we look at photos or videos of the seafloor, if we can't see the organisms that are in the area, sometimes we can see, fecal casts or tracks or mounds or anything like that. I'm noticing that the fish do not like this particular area as much as they like that kind of more moderate slope.
Yeah, and we were told that for these queen snappers that we should look in the periphery because they do tend to shy away from lights and hide under ledges.
This is new for us anyway.
Can we zoom on this outcrop here?
Sure. Sit down for a minute, Carl. You just let me know if I need to
Okay.
go back over.
Still aimed 300.
I think there's a sponge off to the left-hand side, that white blob structure. Is that one we've seen? It doesn't look familiar.
Think so kind of looks like a geodia. This is a demo. It looks like a demo sponge.
Okay. I'm gonna get lasers, Carl, and video. You can zoom in. Good.
Lasers are off.
Yep. Great. Hold that.
Oh, there's a couple things here.
Yeah.
Let's come out just a touch.
So that could be a geodia.
Geodia or
Perfect.
Xenia, possibly. We have a couple land-based scientists. It definitely is a demo sponge.
So I've also noticed to the left and right there are these small branching coral colonies.
What do you think about stopping the ship here and then moving me towards this line of rocks?
I also saw
Doing that.
Sure.
to the right and to the top of this rock there are some attached coral
Come
fauna
out
as
of
well.
video.
Yeah, because I see rocks 25 meters ahead of you.
Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in on this here. Hold that.
Yeah, so the one that is on top of the rock here looks very much like the one we collected, this stony structure, possibly a stylastrid.
Surprised. Do you want
Let's come out a little bit video.
a bump to the west then?
Hold that.
And I've also been seeing these small
So the way D2 's facing.
octocorals
That's what,
on the surface of the rock.
Or if you want to,
Or move
Like-
me to D2, I guess.
move you to D2, so I'll
Yeah.
do a move 15 meters to 215.
So, pilot, immediately to
Yeah,
the
that sounds good.
south,
Copy.
below that white stony
just 10
coral,
meters.
there's this
Copy.
kind of
10 meters,
feathery
215.
white coral fan.
Okay.
Directly below, on the center of the screen now. It's in front of the structure in the background.
Oh, I see it. Yep.
And if I was wondering if you could get at least a zoom on that.
Let's go ahead and hold on, actually.
And maybe the fog lights.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in. And do you want to activate the high beams, Carl?
Yes, they're activated.
Yeah, so there's a couple things here. That looks like another stilastrid in the background, possibly. And then I'm not quite sure what these very small octocorals are
video.
that are all over.
Just a little bit. Yeah, hold that.
All right, well, I don't think we're going to get much better than that, but I think that's good enough for these.
Let's try one more time video. Go ahead and zoom all the way in.
Max.
Yeah, that's max zoom watch lead.
Yeah, I see. Okay. And in the foreground, the coral that's in front of it, can we focus on that? Might be more difficult. Okay. Well, we got some imagery of it. Yeah,
Okay,
I see
let's
that.
go ahead and zoom out video.
Looks a little bit different.
Yeah, that might be a tough shot. So
Yeah.
try and see if we can move around and see another one.
Just gonna saddle around the left side here.
I'll turn the high beams off.
Sure.
Nav, are we good with HPU? Alright, so I'm still... That move's probably about over or still going?
I think it's just about done.
Yeah. I guess I was hoping that would get us to the rocks and then we could aim back uphill. Or back up to the mound. I'm not sure if it... Of course, it all depends on where the rocks go.
Do you want to maybe do... Yeah. So the rocks are pretty much in front of D2, right?
Yeah.
So D2's looking west. I could just bump you west now. 15 meters. Or just another
I
bump.
mean, this is, you see, I mean, there's no other rocks aside from this one in front
Yeah,
of us,
so
right?
I guess you can just go...
And then we'll just, maybe, let Sirius settle out, and then we'll just find uphill and do 50 meters or something.
Yeah, maybe
Those are more
you can stretch out a bit.
small stilastrids.
Anything you'd like to zoom in on, watch lead?
No, nothing in particular
there's a
here.
fish.
Yeah,
It's
Upper
one of
left.
those beard fish.
Go ahead and zoom in video.
the small stony structures in the foreground look like the corals we've been zooming in on for a while, and the one we collected.
Hold that. It's quick.
Oh, there's a shrimp. Oh,
Or a fish.
small fish.
Thanks, video.
Fast-moving shrimp. Usually shrimps move
Oh,
backwards,
no.
right?
No, the shrimp. There's one shrimp right next to behind the sponge right now. And then, yeah, that was, I think, a small fish.
All right, well, if there's nothing you'd like to zoom on here, we can continue to make progress upslope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go full wide video if you're not already.
Yeah, so there's a tall rock like 15 meters ahead of you.
Okay, at my current heading,
Yeah.
280, yep. Okay.
Just a good direction.
So I've been keeping a mental log, and oxygen is still decreasing through the dive today. We started out at around 2.9 milliliters per liter. It's becoming progressively lower, 2.7 now. Temperature has increased slightly over the course of this track, and we've traversed about almost 200 meters from our original start depth.
Yeah, we'll make this next move a 50-meter move and cover some ground.
That's 200 meters of vertical, not horizontal. I think we've
so that rock was
planned about a 900-meter dive track for today, and let's see where we are.
At this point, do we want to realign to 300?
About two-thirds of the way through it.
Headed that way.
Copy that. And then when you're aligned, I'll put in a 50-meter move at 300, decimal 2 knots.
Sure. You can go ahead and call it in, and we'll be there once it starts.
Copy.
What's that? Quick zoom here, video, partial zoom.
Okay. Oh, this looks like
Hold that.
crinoid. Yep, this is a stalked crinoid. Okay, and right to the right is a small octocoral. We're seeing predominantly two types of crinoids, stalked crinoids and ones without stalks.
Okay, Cirrus is at 300.
Great.
There's something ahead. It might be a sponge. So this looks like maybe another stalked sponge, glass sponge.
Copy that.
Okay, go ahead and zoom video. Hold that.
Oh yeah, it's a glass sponge, and it looks like there's a brittle star underneath, attached to the stalk.
Yeah, so this looks like a Hyalinema, or close relative of it.
Okay, and zoom out.
Great, yeah, we're satisfied here.
All right, I think I'm moving.
Great. Go ahead and zoom in video. Oh, yep, just quick.
So for those of you watching on shore, periodically you might hear some noise in the background. Currently they're conducting a fire drill. So I'm not noticing very much
25 meters ahead.
live megafauna here. Occasionally we're seeing fishes, very, very small fishes near the bottom that are very good at eluding the cameras, and then some sponge stalks.
Main deck fire team, muster to your secondary location. Main deck fire team, muster to your secondary location.
fish to the right.
And for those who are tuning in, this is the Okeanos Explorer. We are presently south of St. Thomas to
Very
the
bottom
east
right of the
of
rest of
Vieques Island, on the border of a marine reserve
Let's do a
called the
partial zoom.
Marine Conservation District, also known as the MCD.
Okay, zoom more
This area is protected from fishing
and hold that.
since 1999. I believe we've seen this fish before,
Yeah, I may have been
earlier
at,
in the dive.
I may have been at lunch. I don't recall this one. Pretty iridescent blue colors. Okay, thanks, pilot.
Okay, let's zoom out video. Line back up and push ahead.
Yep, that rock is about 15 meters in my direction now.
Great.
The direction I'm facing.
A lot of sargassum debris in this area.
Yeah, there was an impulse of sargassum over the summer.
Oh, really?
Yes, that washed up, depending on where on the coastline, but a lot on the east coast. So that's why we're probably seeing a lot of sargassum debris along the seafloor.
And sargassum is a algae
See
that
it up ahead.
grows
Yep.
in the open
it.
ocean.
Yeah, this
So
particular
the rock
species
or a little overhang?
grows in the open ocean. There are benthic species
Yeah.
that
Really
will
man-made.
grow on the reef, but this species grows in the open ocean.
Interesting.
This looks a lot like the topography we were seeing yesterday. Occasional tables or outcrops of carbonate crust. Yeah. Can we
Alright.
zoom on the ledge there as we
Sure.
pass? Or
How much do we have left in that move, Sean?
About 15 meters.
Ventilation has been secured. The hospital safe. Ventilation has been secured.
Okay, let's get the high beams on.
High beams are on.
Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom in video.
So what we're looking at right now are a couple of things. There looks to be a type of stylastrid coral. Some sort of stylastrid coral on the rock surface, and then a black coral here, more sparsely branching, but one that we have not seen yet this expedition. This could be
Pilots, do you want to pause that now?
Do you think you'll settle out over D2, or should we stop it early?
I think
this
we
could
should
be
keep
some
going.
sort of
We've got a lot of ground to cover.
antipathes, possibly.
So
Black coral
Sirius might settle about
has a
5,
rather
7
large
meters in front.
hurdle star here.
Okay.
So
My
And
camera
a small
is
little crab.
looking
Oh,
back
yeah, and
now,
a squat
so
lobster.
we've got
Squat
some
lobster, yep.
distance if pilot
Or
moves on. Or if you think if pilot thinks it'll be here a while.
looks
we
like a
can stop.
chirostylid crab.
Watch lead, this is pilot.
Yes, pilot.
Would I be correct in assuming that we'll want to spend some time at this rock, or do we want to
I
just
think we're
spend a
just
couple
gonna,
minutes and move ahead?
Yeah, I think we're just going to scan along the
Okay,
ledge.
let's come out video.
Yeah, around
Partial.
as best we can and move on.
Okay, we'll keep it moving.
we're currently having some trouble, some lag with the shoreside scientists, so we want to give them a couple extra minutes to see what we're seeing in case they want
saddle
to
along the
make
right
a decision.
side, and I'll push out ahead.
On the far right edge of this structure, there seems to be a cluster of something that I would like to take a closer zoom on, but we don't need to set down.
Okay. This here on the right
yeah.
side?
Yeah, I'm
okay,
not
let's
sure
do a
what that
partial
was.
zoom video. Hold that.
Can we get a closer zoom?
Yeah, we can zoom in. Hold that.
So this looks like a mostly dead scleractinian coral. I don't see any live polyps or where there could be live polyps. There's a few, to the lower left, there's a few solitary cup corals, but I don't see anything on this particular scleractinian that would indicate that it's alive, but it's good to document. Yeah, I think those are zoanthids on the right-hand side. I don't see anything that could indicate that it is currently alive, but we haven't seen any scleractinians this substantial living in the immediate vicinity or on this dive so far.
Right on the right-hand side, right in the center.